Don't walk down that aisle until you know what he did. The voice came from the hallway outside my bridal suite, low and shaking, like whoever said it had already lost the fight with their own conscience. If you believe betrayal always leaves receipts, subscribe to the last receipt. I stood in front of the mirror with one sleeve of my wedding gown still hanging loose from my shoulder. My fingers were pressed against the satin, but I could not feel the fabric anymore. Claire looked up from the makeup table. Emily, what was that? I don't know. My throat felt tight. Not the soft kind of tight that comes before happy tears. This was different. This was my body warning me before my heart could understand. The hallway went quiet. Then I heard Daniel's voice. No, I told you not to call me today. I froze. Claire stood slowly. That's Daniel. I know. Daniel laughed under his breath, but it was not his public laugh. It was not the clean, charming laugh he used with my father or the safe one he used with his mother. It was soft. Private. Too familiar. I handled it, he whispered. She doesn't know anything. My hand slipped from the dress. Claire's face changed for half a second, then she quickly fixed it like she was afraid I had seen her doubt. Emily, don't jump to anything. Who is he talking to? Maybe a vendor. Maybe the photographer. Weddings are chaos. I took one step toward the door, then stopped when Daniel spoke again. Madison, listen to me. The name hit the room like a glass dropped on tile. Claire's lips parted. I waited for her to say something. Anything. Maybe, that could be anyone. Maybe, you misheard. Maybe, no, not Daniel. But she said nothing. Daniel's voice lowered. Last night was a mistake because you made it messy. I'm getting married in 1 hour. My breath caught so hard it hurt. Claire whispered, Emily. I lifted one hand. Don't. The hallway floor creaked. Daniel moved away from the door. I'll call you after the reception, he said. Do not come here. Something inside me went cold. Not calm. Cold. The kind of cold that arrives when the worst thing you feared stops being a fear and becomes a schedule. Claire rushed to the door and opened it. Daniel turned around with his phone still in his hand. For 1 second, his face was naked. Then the groom came back. His smile slid into place. Hey, baby. I looked at him through the small gap between Claire's shoulder and the door. Who were you talking to? Daniel blinked once. The florist. You called the florist Madison? His jaw tightened, but only for a moment. Then he smiled again. No. I said medicine. I was asking if your dad brought his blood pressure medicine. Your mom mentioned it earlier. Claire looked at me. I almost laughed, but nothing came out. My mother died 4 years ago, Daniel. The smile did not vanish. It adjusted. Emily, I'm sorry. I meant your aunt. I'm running on no sleep. You said Madison. No, I didn't. You said last night was a mistake. Daniel slipped his phone into his jacket pocket. I said last-minute mistake. The florist put the wrong ribbon on the chairs. I was trying to fix it before you walked out and saw it. Claire exhaled like she wanted to believe him. That could be it, she said softly. You know how loud the hallway is. I stared at Daniel. The hallway was not loud. It was quiet enough for me to hear the tiny scrape of his thumb rubbing against his wedding bandbox. Why are you outside my room? I asked. I brought you coffee. He lifted a paper cup in his other hand, like a peace offering. I know you don't eat when you're nervous. It hurt that he remembered that. It hurt more that he used it now. Daniel, where were you after the rehearsal dinner? At home. Alone? Yes. Don't answer too fast. His eyes sharpened. Emily, what is happening? I'm asking my fiancé where he slept the night before our wedding. And I'm answering my fiancé while she stands there half ready, clearly panicking over nothing. Claire stepped between us. Maybe we should all breathe. Daniel looked at her with grateful sadness, the kind that made people want to rescue him. Thank you. I don't want her upset today. That was the first trick. Fake care. He did not deny like an angry man. He denied like a worried husband. I'm not upset, I said. Daniel's eyes moved over my face, searching for cracks. You're pale. I heard what I heard. No, you heard pieces. That's what panic does. It takes pieces and builds monsters. I felt my hand curl into the satin of my gown. For a second, I saw myself at 26, standing in a dress shop with Claire, holding this gown against my body while laughing because Daniel had cried when I showed him a picture of just the hanger. I remembered thinking, he loves me so much he cries before even seeing me in white. Now I wondered how many tears were performance. Emily, Daniel said gently, look at me. I did. He stepped closer. I love you. The words landed wrong. Not empty. Used. Claire touched my arm. Maybe let him go handle whatever this is. We can talk after the ceremony. After the ceremony? Her face flushed. I mean, after the first look photos. I don't know. I just don't want you making a decision from fear. A knock came from the far end of the hallway. Daniel turned first. Ryan Miller stood near the stairs in his gray best man suit. His hair looked damp, like he had run his hands through it too many times. His eyes went from Daniel to me. Then to the floor. Daniel's face hardened. Ryan, not now. Ryan swallowed. Emily needs to know. The air changed. Daniel took one step toward him. Don't. Ryan looked sick. I can't do this. Claire whispered, do what? Daniel laughed once. It sounded nothing like the laugh from the phone. Ryan's drunk. It's 9 a.m, I said. Daniel looked at me. He barely slept. He's emotional. His own engagement fell apart last year, remember? Ryan flinched. That was the second trick. A dig hidden inside explanation. Ryan looked at Daniel like he had just been slapped in front of a room full of people. Don't use that against me. Then don't make a scene at my wedding. Ryan's mouth opened, then closed. I stepped past Claire. Ryan. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and whatever he saw on my face made his shoulders drop. You should check your phone, he said. Daniel's voice turned low. Ryan. No, Ryan said. I covered enough. My pulse beat against my ears. I turned back into the bridal suite and grabbed my phone from the table. My lock screen lit up with one new message from an unknown number. There was no text. Only a photo. Blurred. Dim. Taken from across a parking lot. Daniel stood beside a woman in a red coat, his hand on her waist, his forehead pressed close to hers. I zoomed in. My fingers shook so hard the screen jumped. Claire came behind me. Oh my God. Daniel appeared in the doorway. Emily, give me the phone. I stepped back. Who is she? That picture is old. You wore that jacket last night. I wear that jacket all the time. The rehearsal dinner boutonniere is still pinned to it. Silence. Claire covered her mouth. Ryan looked away. Daniel's eyes flicked to the phone again. Someone is trying to hurt us. No, I said. Someone is trying to warn me. Daniel moved closer. Baby, don't let a blurry photo destroy 4 years. Then explain it clearly. I can't explain a picture I've never seen. You just said it was old. His face tightened. I watched him realize his mistake. For the first time that morning, he had no beautiful sentence ready. I took another step back and pressed my thumb against the screen. Screenshot saved. Daniel saw it. His voice sharpened. What are you doing? Making sure it doesn't disappear. Claire whispered, Emily, maybe don't escalate. I opened my recorder app and started a voice memo. Daniel's eyes went flat. Are you recording me? Yes. You're recording your groom on our wedding day? I'm recording the man who told Madison he would call her after the reception. Ryan breathed out hard. Claire turned to him. You knew? Ryan's face twisted. I knew something happened. I didn't know all of it. Daniel pointed at him. Shut your mouth. There he was. Not worried. Not gentle. Not misunderstood. Just angry that the wrong person had heard the truth. I forwarded the photo to my private email, then sent it again to the backup account I used for contracts and bills. Daniel stared at the screen like he wanted to snatch it from my hand. Emily, stop. I'm done stopping for you. My voice sounded strange to me. Small, but steady. Claire touched my wrist. Wait. Let's slow down. This could still be. Could still be what? She looked at Daniel. Then at Ryan. Then at the phone in my hand. I don't know. That was the first honest thing anyone had said. Daniel softened again. Emily, please. You're scared. I get it. But everyone is downstairs. Your father is waiting. My mother is crying happy tears. Do you really want to ruin this because Ryan is bitter and some stranger sent you a grainy photo? I felt the room tilt slightly. For 1 weak second, I saw the whole wedding collapsing. The guests whispering. My father's face falling. My name becoming a story people told over brunch. Poor Emily. She found out in the dress. That was my fear. Not losing Daniel. Being pitted for trusting him. I looked at my reflection in the mirror. The gown was beautiful. The woman inside it looked like someone standing at the edge of a cliff, deciding whether the fall or the climb would hurt worse. Daniel stepped closer. Give me 10 minutes. For what? To fix this. You don't fix betrayal like a seating chart. His mouth hardened again. Ryan whispered, Emily, there's more. Daniel spun toward him. I said enough. Ryan shook his head. No. You said home. You told me to say you went home. My chest tightened. Claire's eyes filled with doubt now, real doubt, not panic. I turned to Daniel. You told Ryan to lie? Daniel's face went still. Then he gave me the smallest smile. The kind only I could see. Careful, Emily. The word slid under my skin. Not loud. Not dramatic. A warning dressed as concern. Ryan looked at me. He didn't go home. Daniel's jaw clenched. The music downstairs began to swell, soft and bright, like the building had no idea something ugly had just entered the room. Claire whispered, Emily, what are you going to do? I looked at the saved screenshot. Then at the recording timer still running. Then at Daniel, my almost husband, standing in the doorway with coffee in one hand and lies in the other. I'm going to find out exactly what I was about to marry. And for the first time that morning, Daniel looked afraid. Daniel looked afraid for exactly one breath. Then he became gentle again. Emily, he said, you are shaking. I'm not asking about my hands. You should sit down. I'm asking where you were last night. The coffee cup was still in his hand. The lid had a small brown stain near the edge, and the smell of it filled the doorway like something normal had walked into something rotten. Claire reached for the chair beside the vanity. Maybe sit for a second, Em. I looked at her. Do not manage me right now. Her hand stopped on the chair back. Daniel lowered his voice. No one is managing you. We love you. Ryan made a sound under his breath. Daniel turned his head slowly. You have something to add? Ryan looked at the floor. No. Good. I held up my phone. The recording is still on. Daniel's face softened again, but now I could see the work behind it. The careful eyes. The lowered shoulders. The worried groom costume. Then let the recording show I'm trying to calm down the woman I love. Don't perform for my phone. I'm not performing. You lied about Madison. I didn't lie. You misheard me. You said her name. I said Madison. My mother is dead. I already apologized for that. No, you explained it badly and hoped I was too stunned to notice. Claire looked down. Daniel stepped into the room. Ryan stayed in the hallway, half in and half out, like guilt had nailed his shoes to the carpet. Daniel set the coffee on the vanity. Baby, listen to me. I hated that word suddenly. Baby. It used to soften me. It used to make me turn toward him even when I was tired, angry, or scared. Now it sounded like a leash. Say my name. He blinked. What? Say Emily. His mouth tightened. Emily, you are scared. That's all this is. Don't call betrayal nerves. Claire whispered, we still don't know that it's betrayal. I looked at her. She looked ashamed, but she didn't take it back. Daniel turned to Claire with quiet gratitude. Thank you. Don't thank her for doubting me, I said. Daniel sighed. No one is doubting you. We're trying to keep you from making a decision you can't take back. I almost smiled. I'm not the one who did something I can't take back. He looked hurt. Perfectly hurt. Is that what you think of me? I think you were in a parking lot with Madison last night. The picture is misleading. So you know the picture now? His eyes flicked to the phone. I mean, from what you showed me. I didn't show you anything. You saw it from the doorway. Claire's face changed again. Small. Quick. But I caught it. Daniel caught it too. Claire, he said softly, you know me. She folded her arms. I thought I did. That landed harder than yelling would have. Daniel looked back at me. Fine. You want a timeline? I left the rehearsal dinner at 10:15. Ryan drove me to my apartment. I called the florist because Patricia noticed the chair ribbons were cream instead of white. I took a shower. I wrote my vows. I fell asleep on the couch. Ryan's jaw tightened. I turned to him. Is that true? Daniel answered before he could. Yes. I kept looking at Ryan. Ryan. He swallowed. He left the dinner with me. Daniel closed his eyes for half a second. And? Ryan's voice came out rough. And I dropped him near his building. Near? I asked. Ryan looked at Daniel. Daniel's stare went sharp. Ryan looked back at me. Across the street. Daniel laughed quietly. This is ridiculous. Across the street because the entrance was blocked by catering vans. There were no catering vans at your apartment, I said. How would you know? Because I was there 2 days ago dropping off your cufflinks. He went still. The room shrank. The makeup bulbs around the mirror hummed softly. One of them flickered at the corner, and for some reason that tiny unstable light made my stomach turn. Claire whispered, Daniel, where did he drop you? Daniel rubbed his forehead. This is insane. Where? Near my apartment. Near Madison's apartment? His eyes lifted. There it was. Not confession. Recognition. I felt my heart hit once, hard, like it had slammed into a closed door. Claire whispered, who is Madison? Daniel turned toward her. She's no one. Ryan muttered, that's not true. Daniel snapped, Ryan. I stepped closer. No. Let him speak. Daniel pointed at me, but his voice stayed low. Careful. You're letting a man with a grudge feed you poison on your wedding day. Ryan's face reddened. A grudge? You've been bitter since Laura left you. Ryan looked like he had been punched. Claire turned on Daniel. That was cruel. Daniel's expression changed instantly. I'm sorry. I'm under attack here. No, I said. You're being questioned. That is the same thing when the person questioning you has already decided you're guilty. I haven't decided anything. You keep helping me. He stepped toward me again. Give me your phone. No. I want to see what was sent to you. You want to delete it. His face hardened. That is unfair. Then stand there and be unfairly accused like I stood here and listened to you whisper to Madison. He looked at Claire. Please. Tell her to stop. Claire pressed her lips together. Emily should keep the photo. Daniel stared at her. The shift was small, but it was real. He had lost 1 inch of the room. I picked up my phone again and opened the wedding planning app we had used for months. It held guest lists, vendor receipts, hotel blocks, emergency contacts, and our shared schedule. And our shared location. Daniel saw the screen. What are you doing? Checking something. We turned that on for venue arrivals. You forgot to turn it off. He stepped forward. Ryan moved into the doorway. Daniel. Daniel stopped. I opened the location history. My fingers were steadier now. Not calm. Not brave. Just angry enough to function. The map loaded slowly. A blue line showed Daniel leaving the rehearsal dinner. Then it showed Ryan's route toward Daniel's neighborhood. Then it stopped. Not at Daniel's apartment. 3 blocks away. Beside Madison Blake's building. I stared at the map until the room blurred around it. Claire leaned over my shoulder. Oh, Emily. Daniel spoke fast. That's not accurate. It says you were there for 47 minutes. GPS jumps. To one exact apartment building for 47 minutes? It was the street. I was outside. Outside doing what? His mouth opened. No answer came. Ryan closed his eyes. I took a screenshot. Then another. Then I emailed both to myself. Daniel's voice dropped. Stop documenting me like I'm a criminal. Then stop moving like one. Claire touched my shoulder, but this time she was not trying to calm me. She was steadying me. Send it to someone else too. Daniel looked at her like she had betrayed him. Claire. She flinched at her own name. I'm sorry, but if there's an explanation, the evidence won't hurt you. That was the second inch he lost. I forwarded the screenshots to my father with no message. Just the images. My thumb hovered over send for a moment because I knew what it meant. Once my father saw those screenshots, the wedding stopped being a private wound. It became real. I pressed send. Something inside me cracked. Not because Daniel might leave. Because I finally understood he already had. Daniel watched my face. Then he changed again. No anger. No threat. Just pain. You know what hurts the most? I said nothing. That after everything, you still think I'm capable of this. I looked at him. I didn't think that 10 minutes ago. His eyes shone. I bought the house with you in mind. I learned your father's favorite whiskey. I sat beside you on the anniversary of your mother's death while you cried into my shirt. My throat tightened. That memory hit where he meant it to. The living room. Rain on the windows. His hand in my hair. Me thinking, this is the man who stays. For 1 second, I wanted to step backward in time and live there. Before Madison. Before the photo. Before the map. Daniel saw the weakness pass through me. He moved closer. I am not perfect, Emily. But I am here. I am standing here, in a suit, ready to marry you. Were you standing with Madison last night too? His face went blank. The old pain inside me burned clean. Claire whispered, Daniel, answer her. He turned toward Claire slowly. You too? She swallowed. I'm asking because I want to believe you. Ryan said quietly, then he should tell the truth. Daniel's hand curled at his side. You want the truth? Nobody moved. He looked at me. The truth is, Madison called me. She was upset. She said she might hurt herself if I didn't come talk to her. Claire's face softened in confusion. Ryan looked up sharply. That's not what you told me. Daniel ignored him. I went there to stop a crisis. That's it. I stared at him. That's the new story? It's the truth. Then why didn't you tell me? Because it was complicated. No. Complicated is when the florist brings cream ribbons. This is hiding another woman the night before our wedding. Daniel's voice cracked. I was protecting you. I almost believed the sound. Almost. Then my phone buzzed. A reply from my father. Call me now. I turned the screen over before Daniel could see. Emily, he said, please don't involve everyone. You involved everyone when you invited them to watch you lie. His face changed. The groom disappeared again. Just for a second. Do not turn this wedding into a trial. I looked at the coffee he brought me, sitting cold beside my lipstick and pearl earrings. Then I looked back at him. It became a trial when you brought evidence. Ryan stepped fully into the room. Emily, there's something else. Daniel's voice was almost a whisper. Ryan, if you say another word, you'll regret it. Claire moved beside me. Not in front of me. Beside me. Ryan looked at Daniel, then at me. He made me promise to say he went home. Daniel laughed once. You already said that. Ryan shook his head. No. I mean before anything happened. Before the rehearsal dinner even started. The room went silent. My skin prickled under the lace at my shoulders. I looked at Daniel. You planned the lie before you needed it? Daniel did not answer. He did not have to. The music downstairs changed to the song I had chosen for the bridal party entrance. Bright strings. Soft piano. A beautiful sound for an ugly morning. Claire whispered, Emily, they're about to call us. I picked up my phone, saved the voice memo, and backed it up to the cloud. Then I looked at Daniel. You still have time to tell me the truth before I find it without you. He stared at me with eyes I almost did not recognize. And for the first time I understood something. Daniel was not afraid of losing me. He was afraid of losing control. Daniel stared at Ryan like the room had narrowed down to one target. Say it again, I said. Ryan looked at me, then at Daniel. His face was pale now, and the collar of his shirt looked too tight around his neck. He asked me before the rehearsal dinner to say I dropped him home if anyone asked. Claire whispered, before? Ryan nodded. Before. Daniel laughed under his breath. That is not what happened. Ryan turned on him. Yes, it is. No, Daniel said calmly. I said if Emily got nervous about timing, tell her I went straight home. Because she worries. Because she tracks everything when she's anxious. I felt that one land. Not because it was true. Because he knew exactly where to place the blade. Claire looked at me quickly, then away. Ryan shook his head. You didn't say that. Daniel stepped closer to him. What did I say, Ryan? Ryan swallowed. You said Madison was making things difficult. The room became so quiet I could hear the low buzz of the makeup lights again. Daniel's eyes changed. Careful. Ryan's mouth trembled once. You said you needed one clean night. One clean story. You said after the wedding, everything would be easier to manage. Claire covered her mouth. I looked at Daniel. One clean story? Daniel spread his hands. Emily, think. Does that sound like me? Yes. The answer came out before I could soften it. His face flickered. I had never said yes to that version of him before. Ryan looked at me with shame heavy in his eyes. I thought he was just trying to avoid drama. Drama? I asked. I know. I know how it sounds. No, Ryan. Tell me exactly how it sounded to you last night. He looked down at his polished shoes. He said Madison was emotional. He said she didn't understand boundaries. He said if you found out she had called him, you'd think the worst. And you believed him? Ryan rubbed both hands over his face. I wanted to. Daniel snapped, because it was the truth. Ryan looked at him. No. Because you were my best friend, and I was stupid enough to think loyalty meant silence. That sentence hit Daniel harder than any accusation. His jaw tightened. Claire moved closer to me. Her shoulder brushed mine, and I felt the small warmth of another body beside me. Not pushing me. Not pulling me. Just there. I needed that more than I wanted to admit. Daniel noticed. Claire, you're being manipulated. She looked at him slowly. By who? By this. He pointed toward Ryan, then toward my phone. By panic. By a blurry photo. By one man trying to wash his guilt clean by throwing it on me. Ryan laughed once, bitter and broken. My guilt? You asked me to lie to your bride. Daniel's voice sharpened. I asked you to protect my wedding. No, I said. You asked him to protect your affair. The word sat in the room. Affair. Daniel flinched like I had slapped him. Claire whispered, Emily. I looked at her. I need you to stop whispering my name like truth is rude. Her eyes filled with tears. You're right. That surprised me. She took a breath. You're right. I'm sorry. For 1 second, I wanted to fold. Not into Daniel. Into Claire. Into the person who had stood beside me in dress shops, hotel lobbies, cake tastings, and late-night panic calls. The person who had told me this wedding would be the beginning of my soft life. I was terrified she had been helping him doubt me without even knowing it. I opened my phone again. My father had called twice. I did not call back yet. Instead, I selected the location screenshots, the blurred photo, and the voice memo I had just saved. Daniel watched my thumb move. What now? Back up. You already sent it to yourself. I'm sending it to someone who won't let me talk myself out of believing my own eyes. He took a step toward me. Ryan blocked him again. Daniel looked at Ryan with disgust. You're enjoying this. Ryan's face darkened. I'm dying in this room, man. Then leave. No. The word was quiet, but it held. I sent the files to my father's email. Then I sent them to Claire. Her phone buzzed in her hand. She looked down at the screen, then up at me. I have them. Daniel's nostrils flared. You two are turning a misunderstanding into evidence. No, Claire said, voice shaking. Evidence turns a misunderstanding into something else. Daniel stared at her like she had changed languages. Then the hallway filled with the crisp sound of heels. Patricia Hayes appeared at the door in a silver dress that looked expensive enough to forgive sins for people who had money. Her smile was tight before she even saw my face. What is going on? Daniel turned to her quickly. Mom, not now. Patricia looked past him at me. Her eyes moved over my half-fastened dress, my phone, Ryan in the doorway, Claire's wet eyes. Oh, Emily. The way she said it made my skin prickle. Not concern. Disappointment. Patricia, I said. She entered the room without asking. Sweetheart, guests are seated. The photographer is asking for final bridal portraits, and your father is pacing near the front pew. Daniel lowered his voice. Mom, Emily is upset. Patricia put one hand to her chest. Of course she is. Brides get overwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed, I said. She smiled sadly. That's what overwhelmed people say. Claire's head snapped toward her. Mrs. Hayes, that's not fair. Patricia ignored her. Emily, I know this is a big day. No one expects you to be perfectly calm. But you cannot punish everyone because your nerves found a target. My cheeks went hot. Daniel looked down, playing wounded. Ryan muttered, unbelievable. Patricia turned to him. And you should be ashamed. A best man does not bring chaos to the bridal suite. Ryan's voice hardened. A best man also shouldn't be asked to lie. Patricia froze. Only for a second. Then she recovered. Daniel? He sighed. It's being twisted. She faced me again. What exactly do you think happened? I held out my phone. Your son was with Madison last night. Patricia did not look at the screen. That told me enough. Claire noticed too. You're not even going to check? Patricia's mouth tightened. I am not going to dignify gossip sent by a cowardly stranger. I lowered the phone. You know her. Patricia's eyes moved to Daniel. He looked away. The room tilted again, but this time I did not fall with it. I held the edge of the vanity, feeling the cold marble under my fingers. The smoothness grounded me. What did he tell you about Madison? I asked. Patricia's voice became soft. Too soft. Emily, every man has people from his past. She called him today. That does not mean he answered with his heart. I almost laughed. Claire whispered, that is insane. Patricia turned cold. You are the maid of honor. Your job is to support the bride, not feed hysteria. Claire stepped back like the word hit her. Hysteria. There it was. The history twist. Not Daniel's betrayal. My instability. My fear. My failure to be graceful. I looked at Patricia. Do you call every woman hysterical when your son gets caught? Her face hardened. You are standing in a wedding gown accusing your groom minutes before the ceremony. Because he cheated minutes before the ceremony. Daniel snapped, I did not cheat. Ryan looked at him. Then say Madison meant nothing. Daniel turned. She meant nothing. Ryan's eyes filled with disgust. That's worse. A knock sounded behind Patricia. One of the venue coordinators called softly, 5 minutes. Nobody answered. The coordinator walked away. 5 minutes. 5 minutes until I was supposed to smile behind a veil and let music turn me into someone's wife. My ribs felt too tight for my lungs. I thought of my father waiting near the aisle. Robert Carter, who had spent 4 years warming to Daniel. Robert, who had once told me, I don't need him to be perfect. I need him to be honest when perfect fails. I had defended Daniel so many times. He's just busy. He didn't mean it that way. He gets quiet under pressure. Each defense came back like a receipt I had written against myself. I was afraid my father would see me and know I had ignored every warning because I wanted a wedding more than I wanted peace. Then my laptop chimed from the small table near the window. Claire looked over. Your vows? I turned. The document was open. Or it had been. Now the screen showed an error. File not found. I walked to it slowly. My dress whispered against the carpet, soft and cruel, like it still believed this was a bridal morning. I clicked the folder. Empty. I clicked recent files. Nothing. My vow document was gone. The room blurred at the edges. No, I whispered. Claire came beside me. You saved them last night. I know. Daniel said quickly, maybe the app glitched. I looked at him. He was too quick. Ryan looked sick again. I turned to him. What? He closed his eyes. Ryan, I said. What? Daniel's voice dropped. Don't. Ryan opened his eyes. He asked me if your laptop was still logged into the shared wedding drive. Claire whispered, why? Ryan's throat moved. He said he wanted to delete anything too emotional. Patricia gasped. Daniel. Daniel spun toward Ryan. You liar. Ryan raised his voice for the first time. No. You said you didn't want her vows making you look bad. You said she always made herself sound like the one who loved more. I could not breathe for a second. Not because of Madison. Because of that. My vows. The private words I had written at midnight with my knees tucked under me and my mother's old blanket over my lap. The words where I thanked him for making grief feel survivable. The words where I promised not perfection, but honesty. He had not just betrayed the wedding. He had tried to edit my love out of it. Claire put one hand over mine. Her fingers were cold. Emily. This time, her voice did not ask me to calm down. It asked me to stay standing. I clicked through the trash folder. Empty. Daniel said, this is getting sick. I turned from the laptop. You deleted my vows. No. You asked Ryan to help. No. Ryan said, I didn't delete them. I swear. I told him I wouldn't touch her files. Daniel laughed harshly. Heroic. Ryan stepped toward him. I should have told her last night. Yes, I said. Ryan stopped. My voice shook now. You should have. His face folded. I know. I looked at him, and anger rose sharp and clean. You let me wake up today and put on this dress. I know. You let my father walk into that church. I know. You let me think I was safe. Ryan's eyes filled. I'm sorry. Daniel tried to speak. I lifted my hand. No. Not you. He went silent. I looked back at Ryan. Sorry does not fix it. No. But truth might. Ryan nodded slowly. Then ask me anything. Patricia whispered, Emily, please think of the families. I turned to her. I am. She blinked. I am thinking of every woman who was told to smile because a family name mattered more than her life. Daniel's face went red. You are making me into a monster. No, I said. My voice steadied. You are just meeting witnesses. The laptop screen glowed behind me, empty where my vows used to be. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was my father. I answered. Dad? His voice was low. Emily, I saw what you sent. My eyes burned. Are you angry? There was a pause. I'm walking to you now. Daniel looked at me like the floor had dropped beneath him. Patricia whispered, Robert does not need to be involved. I looked at her. He already is. The hallway outside filled with heavier footsteps. Not rushed. Certain. And as my father came closer, Daniel finally stopped looking wounded. He looked cornered. My father stopped in the doorway and looked at every face before he looked at mine. Daniel's straightened-like posture could erase guilt. Robert, he said, I'm glad you're here. My father ignored him. Emily. That one word almost broke me. Not because he sounded angry. Because he sounded careful. Like he was standing near a wound and did not want to touch the wrong place. I tried to speak, but my throat closed. Claire answered for me. She heard Daniel on the phone with Madison. Then someone sent a photo. Then the location showed he was near Madison's building last night. Patricia stepped forward. Robert, please don't let this become a family disaster. My father looked at her. It already is. Daniel raised both hands. I understand how this looks. No, I said. You understand how to survive how this looks. He turned to me. Emily, I am trying to protect us. From the truth? From a mistake becoming the only thing anyone remembers about our wedding. My father's eyes narrowed. A mistake? Daniel swallowed. That came out wrong. Ryan whispered, everything comes out wrong when it's finally honest. Patricia shot him a cold look. Enough from you. My father stepped into the room. The scent of his aftershave reached me, cedar and soap, familiar enough to pull a memory from years ago. I was 9, standing on his shoes while he danced me around the kitchen after my mother burned a pie and cried from laughing too hard. For 1 second, I wanted to be that child again. Small. Protected. Not standing in a wedding dress with evidence in my hands. My father looked at my gown, then at my face. Do you want to leave? Daniel spoke before I could. She doesn't know what she wants right now. My father turned to him slowly. Do not answer for my daughter. Daniel's mouth closed. I breathed in. No, I said. Claire blinked. No? I looked at the laptop, the empty folder where my vows used to be, then at my phone. Not yet. Patricia exhaled with relief. Good. Then let's pause. We can delay the ceremony, freshen Emily up, and handle this privately. I looked at her. Privately is where he built it. Patricia stiffened. Daniel's eyes sharpened. Emily. I kept my voice low. If I walk out now with no clean proof, you'll tell everyone I panicked. No, I won't. You already started. His face shifted. I turned to Claire. You heard him. He said I track things when I'm anxious. He said I panic. His mother called me overwhelmed. Claire nodded slowly. Yes. I looked at my father. If I leave now, he controls the story before I reach the parking lot. My father's jaw worked. You don't owe these people a performance. I know. Then what are you thinking? I looked at Daniel. He looked almost calm again, like he believed my silence meant confusion. That was useful. I'm thinking I need 5 minutes alone with Claire. Daniel laughed. No. My father stepped forward. She asked for 5 minutes. Daniel looked at him. And I'm her groom. Not yet. The room went still. Those 2 words cut cleaner than shouting. Daniel's face hardened. Patricia whispered, Robert, that was unnecessary. My father did not look at her. Neither was lying to my daughter. Ryan stepped aside from the doorway. Daniel moved like he wanted to stay, but my father placed himself between us. Hallway, my father said. Daniel looked at me. Don't do this. I met his eyes. I'm not doing anything yet. That scared him more. Patricia followed Daniel into the hall, whispering fast. Ryan stayed. Claire looked at him. You too. Ryan nodded. I'll be right outside. He looked at me one last time. I'll answer whatever you ask. The door closed. The room changed without Daniel in it. The air felt whiter. Claire turned to me, tears running now. Emily, I am so sorry. Not yet. What? I can't fall apart yet. She wiped her face. Tell me what you need. I pointed to the garment bag near the closet. The backup gown bag. You're changing? No. Inside pocket. Claire crossed the room and unzipped it. The sound was sharp in the quiet. She reached into the inner pocket and pulled out a flat envelope, my old phone, a portable charger, and a folded paper copy of vendor contacts. She looked at me. You really packed an emergency kit? I thought the emergency would be lipstick, torn lace, maybe rain. Claire gave a broken laugh. Not this. Not this. She handed me the old phone. It was cold and heavy in my palm. For a second, shame rose in me. Not because I had prepared. Because some part of me had always prepared. Daniel used to tease me for it. You plan disasters before they earn the right to exist, he would say. And I would laugh because I thought being loved meant someone could mock your fear and still hold it carefully. Now I understood. He had studied my fear. Then he had weaponized it. Claire plugged in the phone. The dead screen flashed, then showed the charging symbol. While it boots, she said, I need to tell you something. I looked up. What? She folded her arms around herself. Daniel talked to me months ago. My body went still. About what? You. I waited. Her voice lowered. He said you had been getting jealous. He said you were insecure about women from his past. He said he was worried the wedding stress would make you suspicious of innocent things. My mouth went dry. When? After the engagement party. The room tilted, but I stayed standing. That was 6 months ago. I know. He was preparing you. Claire's face crumpled. I thought he was asking me to help you. I thought he loved you and didn't know how to handle your anxiety. I laughed once. It sounded dead. My anxiety. I'm sorry. What exactly did he say? Claire looked down. He said if anything came up near the wedding, I should keep you grounded. He said you might misread messages or overreact to old friendships. I closed my eyes. There it was. The lie under the lie. Daniel had not just hidden Madison. He had planted me as the problem before I even found her. My chest ached, deep and dull. He made you my guardrail. Claire whispered, he made me your cage. I opened my eyes. She was crying harder now. I defended him today because he trained me to. The old phone buzzed alive. I picked it up. Then help me untrain the room. Claire nodded. How? Cloud backups. I unlocked the phone with a passcode Daniel never knew, because it was my mother's birthday backward. For a second, my thumb hovered over the numbers. I missed her so hard it was physical. I missed the way she would have walked into this room and ruined every polite lie before breakfast. The phone opened. I logged into my cloud account and pulled up synced messages from the shared laptop. Claire leaned over my shoulder. Will it show deleted files? Maybe not files. But notifications, previews, synced drafts. I searched Madison. Nothing. I searched Blake. One result. Then another. Then a thread opened. Daniel's name appeared beside deleted message previews recovered from notification history. Madison, you promised last night wasn't goodbye. Daniel, I said not today. Madison, you're really marrying her after what you said? Daniel, I need the wedding to happen clean. Don't make me regret trusting you. Claire whispered, oh my God. My skin felt hot under the lace. I took screenshots. Another message preview loaded. Madison, you told me she was just the safe choice. Daniel, she is stability. You are the part of me I don't have to perform for. The phone shook in my hand. Claire grabbed it before it fell. Emily. I bent forward and pressed one hand against the vanity. The marble was cold again. I focused on that. Cold. Solid. Real. Not his voice. Not his promises. Not the ring waiting downstairs. My breath came back slowly. Claire said, we can stop. No. You don't have to keep reading. I do. She handed the phone back. I opened another recovered preview. Daniel, after the wedding, money gets easier. Then I can think. I stared at that sentence. Money gets easier. My father had paid for half the venue. I had paid deposits from my own savings. Daniel had insisted we combine wedding accounts for simplicity. My stomach turned. A knock hit the door. Emily, Daniel called softly. Can I send you something? Claire looked at me. I turned on the recorder again. Text it. A few seconds later, my phone buzzed. Daniel, I am sorry this morning became painful. I should have told you Madison reached out, but your fear around trust made honesty feel impossible. I never wanted to hurt you. Please don't punish both families for a conversation you don't understand. Claire read it over my shoulder. Her voice went flat. He's blaming you. He's documenting his version. Another message came. Daniel, I love you. But if you walk away in anger, everyone will remember that you chose suspicion over grace. I screenshotted both. Claire whispered, that is not an apology. No. It's a leash with punctuation. I created a new folder in my email. Wedding receipts. Claire watched me move each file into it. The blurred photo. The location screenshots. The voice memo. The recovered Madison texts. Daniel's fake apology. Ryan's pending statement. The deleted vows error. If you're still watching, I whispered, not for Daniel, not for Claire, but for every woman who had ever been told evidence was emotion. Type receipts for every person who was told they were crazy before the truth came out. Claire looked at me through the mirror. You're going through with the ceremony? I lowered the veil over my face. The mesh brushed my cheek, rougher than I remembered. It scratched slightly when I breathed, but it also hid my eyes. For the first time all morning, I understood why brides wore veils. Not just beauty. Cover. No, I said. I'm going through with the aisle. Claire's face steadied. And then? I sent the evidence folder to my father. Then to Claire. Then to Ryan. Then I typed one message to my father. Please keep Daniel away from my phone. Let the ceremony start. Trust me. 3 dots appeared. Then his reply came. I trust you. My eyes burned, but I did not cry. Not yet. Claire zipped the emergency bag and picked up my bouquet from the chair. Emily. I turned. She held it out. Tell me what you need me to do. I looked at the door, where Daniel was waiting with a story he thought he still owned. Stand close. I will. If I ask Ryan a question, make sure he answers before Daniel speaks. I will. If Patricia tries to pull me away, block her. Claire's jaw tightened. I will. The music downstairs swelled again. The lights around the mirror buzzed. My veil scratched my cheek. My gown felt heavy, but not like a trap anymore. Like armor. I opened the door. Daniel stood in the hallway with red eyes he had probably rubbed on purpose. Emily, he whispered, thank God. I looked at him through the veil. Smile, Daniel. He froze. There are cameras everywhere. Daniel's smile came back slowly. Not happy. Trained. The kind of smile men use when cameras are near and consequences are not far enough away. There she is, he said. My beautiful bride. Claire stepped closer to me. Ryan stood near the end of the hall with my father, his hands locked together like he was trying to keep them from shaking. Patricia moved first. Oh, thank God, she said. Emily, sweetheart, you look stunning. Let's not let a horrible misunderstanding steal the day. I looked through the veil at her. The misunderstanding has screenshots. Her mouth tightened. Daniel glanced toward the photographer at the far corner of the corridor. Lower your voice. Why? Because people are watching. Then behave like someone worth watching. His eyes flashed. Then he leaned closer, keeping the perfect groom smile on his face. Think very carefully before you humiliate me. There it was. No fake care now. No soft apology. A threat polished enough for a wedding hallway. Claire heard it. Her jaw set. Daniel, step back. He looked at her like she had become furniture that spoke. This is between me and my fiancé. I lifted my chin. Not after you made Ryan lie, your mother pressure me, and Claire doubt me. Patricia stepped in with her silver clutch pressed to her chest. Emily, guests flew in from 3 states. Your father has spent a fortune. Our family name is on the program, on the hotel block, on every table downstairs. My life is not a table setting. No one said it was. You just did. Patricia inhaled sharply. Do you really want 200 people remembering you as the bride who lost control at the altar? My father's voice cut through the hallway. They'll remember her as the woman who refused to marry a liar. Patricia turned to him. Robert, please. You're angry. I understand. But this is not how decent families handle private pain. My father stepped beside me. Decent families don't ask the victim to protect the costume. Daniel's smile cracked. Victim? That's dramatic. I looked at him. You deleted my vows. I didn't. You blamed my fear. I tried to explain your pattern. My pattern? He lowered his voice again. You do this. You gather tiny things, build a case, and then make everyone prove they love you. Claire said, stop. Daniel ignored her. You want honesty? Fine. Your fear exhausted me, Emily. The words hit harder than I wanted them to. Because for one private second, I believed he had found the ugliest thing I thought about myself. Too much. Too careful. Too afraid of being left. I felt the bouquet stems press into my palm, their ribbons damp where my fingers had tightened. The roses smelled sweet, almost sickening now, mixed with hairspray and perfume and polished wood from the church doors. I looked down at the white flowers. I remembered choosing them because Daniel said roses were classic. I had wanted wildflowers. I swallowed. That was the specific loss. Not just him. All the small places I had edited myself so love would fit. My phone buzzed inside Claire's hand. She had taken it to keep Daniel from reaching for it. Her eyes dropped to the screen. Then her face changed. Emily. What? She turned the phone toward me. A bank alert glowed on the screen. Large transaction attempted. Hayes Carter wedding account. Luxury honeymoon suite upgrade. Declined pending authorization. The timestamp was from that morning. My chest went still. Daniel looked at the phone. Oh, come on. I stared at him. You tried to upgrade the honeymoon this morning? That was automatic. Automatic from your card? It's our wedding account. Our wedding account that I funded yesterday for vendor balances. Patricia stepped forward. Couples share expenses. I looked at her. Couples share truth first. Daniel rubbed his forehead. I was trying to surprise you. A surprise honeymoon upgrade while you were telling Madison you'd call her after the reception? His face hardened. Ryan looked up. That's why. Everyone turned to him. Daniel's voice went flat. Don't. Ryan's eyes were wet, but he did not look away this time. That's why you needed the wedding to happen clean. Daniel took one step toward him. Ryan, I swear to God. My father moved between them. Finish the sentence, Ryan. Ryan looked at me. He told me after the wedding, the money would be easier. I already knew it from the recovered message. But hearing it out loud made it heavier. Claire whispered, what money? Ryan took a breath. He said once the accounts were merged, once the gifts came in, once the honeymoon and house deposits were locked, he could breathe. Daniel laughed, but it was thin. That is not criminal. That is marriage planning. Ryan shook his head. No. You said Emily was stable. You said she had savings, a father who helped, and a life that made you look better. Patricia's face went pale. Daniel. Daniel snapped, he's twisting it. Ryan's voice broke. You said Madison was passion, but Emily was the future that made sense. The hallway went silent. The music behind the church doors rose, muffled and beautiful, like a cruel joke. I looked at Daniel. Say he's lying. Daniel's mouth opened. No words came. Say it. He looked at me through the veil. Then his face hardened into something almost bored. You wanted the perfect wedding too. I breathed once. So that's your defense? You wanted this life. The house, the family, the image. Don't act like I was the only one who liked what this marriage came with. Claire whispered, you disgusting coward. Patricia turned sharply. Claire. No, Claire said. I helped him doubt her. I stood there and told her she might be misreading things because your son spent months making me think she was fragile. I'm done helping. Patricia's lips trembled. For the first time, she looked at Daniel not like a son to protect, but like a man she did not fully know. Daniel, she said quietly, tell me this is not true. He looked at his mother. Not you too. That is not an answer. He looked away. That was her shift. Late. Small. But real. My phone buzzed again. Claire looked down. Unknown number. Open it. She hesitated. Emily. Open it. She tapped the message. A photo appeared first. Not blurry. Daniel and Madison in a hotel elevator mirror, his loosened tie around his neck, her red coat over one arm. The timestamp showed last night. Below it was a message. Madison, he told me the wedding was family pressure. He said you were safe, not loved. He said after the gifts and accounts settled, he would figure us out. My vision narrowed. Not from shock now. From clarity. Claire's voice shook. There's more. Madison, I'm not sending this because I'm kind. I'm sending it because he lied to me too. Ryan exhaled like someone had punched the air out of him. Daniel reached for the phone. Claire stepped back. Don't touch her evidence. Evidence? Daniel said. From Madison? The woman trying to ruin my life because I wouldn't choose her? I looked at him. You chose her last night. He snapped, and I chose you today. The sentence fell so ugly that even Patricia closed her eyes. I felt something inside me finally detach. Not explode. Detach. The last thread. The last excuse. The last tiny hope that he would become the man I had loved if I just waited one more minute. I looked at Madison's message again. Safe, not loved. There was a strange mercy and cruelty when it stopped pretending. My father's voice was quiet. Emily, we can leave right now. Daniel spoke fast. Yes. Leave. We can tell people you got sick. We can postpone. No one needs details. I looked at him. You still think you get to write the announcement? I'm trying to spare you. No. You're trying to bury me under politeness. Patricia whispered, Emily, please. The guests are already seated. I know. The lights are on. The music is playing. People are whispering because we are late. I know. The longer this goes on, the harder it becomes. I turned toward the closed church doors. Behind them were guests who had seen Daniel charm me for 4 years. Guests who had been told I was anxious. Guests who would hear the music, see my veil, feel the pressure of the moment, and think any interruption must be emotional. That was why he wanted the hallway. That was why he wanted private. Noise could cover him. Lights could polish him. Social pressure could silence me. I looked back at Daniel. You built your lie in public. His eyes narrowed. What does that mean? It means I'm not clearing it in a hallway. Claire's lips parted. Emily. I looked at her. When Reverend Reed asks if we're ready, I'll ask Daniel one question. Ryan swallowed. What question? I looked at Daniel. Where were you after the rehearsal dinner? Daniel's face lost color. My father's voice was low. And if he lies? I looked at the phone in Claire's hand, the folder in my email, the bank alert, Madison's message, Ryan's face, Patricia's trembling mouth. Then the truth walks down the aisle with me. Daniel stepped closer, no smile now. You will regret this. I looked at him through the veil. No, Daniel. My voice did not shake. You will. The church doors opened, and every head turned. For 1 second, the room looked exactly like the dream I had paid for. White flowers along the aisle. Candles in glass holders. Soft gold lights over polished wood. Faces I loved and faces I barely knew, all waiting for me to become Daniel's wife. Claire stood beside me. My father offered his arm. You don't have to do this, he whispered. I know. His eyes searched mine. Then why are you walking? Because he counted on me hiding. My father's jaw tightened. Then he nodded. I'm here. The music swelled. My veil softened the room, blurring the edges of people's faces. That helped. The lights were bright enough to make everyone look gentle from a distance. But Daniel was clear. He stood at the altar in his black suit, hands folded, smile ready. Ryan stood beside him, pale and stiff. Patricia sat in the front row with her clutch clenched in both hands. Reverend Thomas Reed waited beneath the arch, calm and formal, his ceremony book open. Every step down the aisle felt heavy, but not weak. The satin moved against my legs. The bouquet ribbon rubbed damp against my palm. My heart was not racing anymore. It had become a drum. Slow. Certain. Daniel's eyes followed me with relief first. Then suspicion. Then warning. I stopped beside him. He leaned close enough that only I could hear. Last chance. I looked ahead. No, Daniel. He swallowed. Emily, don't. The music faded. The room settled. Reverend Reed smiled gently. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the union of Daniel Hayes and Emily Carter. Daniel reached for my hand. I did not take it. His smile stayed, but his fingers curled back. Reverend Reed continued. Marriage is a covenant built on trust, honesty, patience, and love. The word honesty landed between us like a match. Daniel's jaw moved. Claire stood a few steps behind me, holding my phone and bouquet backup folder like she was holding a shield. My father sat in the front row now, but his body was angled toward me, ready. Reverend Reed looked from Daniel to me. Before we proceed to the vows, Daniel and Emily have chosen to speak a few personal words. Daniel brightened instantly. Of course. He turned to the guests. Everyone, before we begin, I just want to say how grateful I am that you're here. Emily and I have had a stressful morning, but love is bigger than fear. I looked at him. Even now. Even here. He was still writing my weakness into his speech. He turned to me with wet eyes. Emily, I know today has been overwhelming, but I am standing here because I choose you. The room softened. I felt it. That quiet social pressure. The candles. The clothes. The expectation. The belief that a groom with tears must be telling the truth. I lifted my veil. A small gasp moved through the church, then died. That was the only sound the crowd got from me. I looked at Daniel. Before I promise my life to you, tell everyone where you were after the rehearsal dinner. His smile froze. Emily. Tell them. Reverend Reed glanced between us. Is everything all right? I did not look away from Daniel. It will be. Daniel lowered his voice. Please don't do this. Answer the question. He turned slightly toward the guests, then back to me. I went home. The lie sounded smaller in the church. Not stronger. Smaller. Alone? I asked. Daniel's eyes flashed. Yes. I breathed once. The air smelled like lilies and candle wax. For one painful second, I still wanted him to stop me. Not with anger. With truth. I wanted him to become the man I had invented from scraps of good days and polished apologies. He did not. He looked me in the eye and lied again. I turned to Claire. Phone. She stepped forward and placed it in my hand. Daniel's voice sharpened. Emily, enough. No. I faced the guests. I'm sorry to stop this ceremony, but I will not make vows inside a lie. Patricia rose from the front row. Emily, sit down. This is not the place. My father stood. It is now. I opened the first image. This was sent to me this morning. I held the phone where Reverend Reed could see, then turned it toward Daniel. It shows Daniel with Madison Blake last night, still wearing his rehearsal dinner jacket. Daniel shook his head. That photo is misleading. I swiped. This is his location history from our shared wedding app. He was outside Madison's building for 47 minutes after he said he went home. Daniel's face tightened. GPS is unreliable. I swiped again. This is a message from Madison. My voice stayed steady. She wrote that Daniel told her the wedding was family pressure. He said I was safe, not loved. He said after the gifts and accounts settled, he would figure them out. Reverend Reed closed his ceremony book. Just once. The sound was small, but final. Daniel stepped toward me. She is trying to ruin me. I stepped back. And this is the bank alert from this morning, showing he attempted a honeymoon upgrade from our joint wedding account after I funded vendor balances yesterday. Daniel looked at the guests now. You're all seeing this, right? She is humiliating me with screenshots she doesn't understand. I turned to Ryan. Ryan, did Daniel ask you to lie? Ryan's face twisted. Daniel whispered, don't. Ryan stepped away from Daniel. Yes. The word moved through the church like a door opening. Daniel stared at him. Ryan looked at the guests, then at me. He told me before the rehearsal dinner that if anyone asked, I should say I dropped him home. He said he needed one clean story. Daniel's mouth opened. Ryan kept going. He told me Madison was making things difficult. He said after the wedding, everything would be easier to manage. I held the phone tighter. Did he ask about my laptop? Ryan's eyes filled. Yes. Daniel snapped, Ryan, shut up. Ryan shook his head. No. He faced Reverend Reed. He asked if her shared wedding drive was still logged in. He said her vows were too emotional and would make him look bad. He wanted them gone. My chest hurt again, but I did not bend. Claire moved beside me. She found the file deleted this morning. Daniel pointed at me. She is unstable. This is what she does. She builds cases. She records people. She twists panic into proof. That was his one reaction. The last mask, ripped off in public. I looked at him calmly. I recorded you because you lied. He laughed, sharp and ugly. You recorded me because you never trusted me. No, Daniel. I stepped closer, but not close enough for him to touch me. I trusted you so much I put on the dress. His face changed. For the first time, he had no audience voice left. Patricia stood frozen at the front row. Then she looked at him. Daniel, did you ask Ryan to delete her vows? He looked at his mother. Mom. Answer me. He said nothing. Patricia sat down slowly. She did not defend him again. Reverend Reed looked at me. Emily, do you wish for this ceremony to continue? I turned toward Daniel. He was breathing hard now, eyes bright with anger, not sorrow. I looked at the man I had almost married. The man who had brought coffee like care, threats like concern, and betrayal like a scheduling mistake. No. The word felt clean. Reverend Reed nodded once. Then I cannot proceed. Daniel spun toward him. You can't just stop my wedding. Reverend Reed's voice stayed calm. A wedding requires consent. She has withdrawn hers. My father stepped into the aisle. Daniel, you need to leave the altar. Daniel looked around the room like someone would save him. No one moved. Ryan took off the best man boutonniere and placed it on the altar rail. I'm done standing beside you. Daniel stared at him. You're dead to me. Ryan's voice was quiet. I should have been honest sooner. That part is on me. But today, I'm choosing the truth. Claire stood on my other side. My father stood in front of me. For the first time all day, I was not surrounded by doubt. I was surrounded by witnesses. Daniel stepped down from the altar, brushing past Ryan so hard his shoulder hit him. My father moved slightly, enough to block Daniel from coming near me. Walk away, my father said. Daniel's eyes found mine one last time. You'll regret embarrassing me. I lifted my chin. No. My voice carried through the church. I would have regretted marrying you. He left through the side aisle. The door closed behind him with a heavy wooden sound. No one spoke. No one needed to. I looked at Reverend Reed. Thank you. He inclined his head. I'm sorry, Emily. I looked down at the ring box on the small table near the altar. The ring was still inside, waiting for a promise that would never touch my hand. I picked it up and handed it to Patricia. Her fingers trembled as she took it. I didn't know all of it, she whispered. I know. Her eyes filled. But you knew enough to pressure me. She looked down. Yes. That was all I needed from her. Not forgiveness. Not explanation. Just truth. I turned to the guests. I came here ready to make vows. I will not make them to a man who needed witnesses only when he wanted applause. My voice did not break. This wedding is over. I took my father's arm. Claire gathered the train of my dress, not like a servant, but like a friend helping me carry the weight of something I was finally allowed to put down. As we walked back up the aisle, the church lights still felt too bright. The flowers still smelled too sweet. The music was gone. But the silence did not shame me anymore. It cleared a path. The church doors closed behind us, and the hallway felt colder than it had before. Not cruel cold. Clean cold. The kind that touches your skin after you step out of a room where everyone has been breathing the same lie. My father kept my arm tucked through his. You're shaking, he said. I know. You don't have to be strong right now. I looked down at my dress. The satin still looked perfect. That almost made me angry. It feels wrong that the dress survived better than the day. Claire gave a small broken laugh behind me. Your dress didn't betray anyone. No, I said. It just showed up for the wrong man. My father stopped near the bridal suite door. Emily, listen to me. I looked at him. His eyes were wet, but his voice stayed steady. You did not lose a husband today. My throat tightened. He held my hand tighter. You escaped a lifetime sentence. That broke something softer in me. I pressed my lips together, but the tears came anyway. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just hot lines down my face, slipping under makeup that had been painted for a wedding and ended up surviving a trial. Claire touched my shoulder. I'm okay. No, you're not. I nodded. No. I'm not. That was the first honest breath I had taken all day. My father opened the bridal suite door, and the room looked exactly the same. The coffee Daniel had brought sat cold on the vanity. The makeup brushes were still lined up. My pearl earrings waited beside my lipstick like nothing had happened. I stared at the coffee. Claire followed my eyes. Want me to throw it away? Not yet. She frowned. Why? Because I want to remember how betrayal can come holding something warm. My father looked away, jaw tight. Claire set my phone on the table. Everything is backed up. I checked. The folder is still there. Good. You don't have to look at it again. I won't today. My father said, I'll handle the vendors. I'll speak to the venue manager. I'll make sure no one bothers you. No. He looked at me. No? I need to say one thing first. To who? To everyone. Claire shook her head. Emily, you already did enough. I didn't say goodbye to the version of myself that walked in there. My father's face softened. What do you need? I looked at the mirror. The veil still covered part of my hair, pinned perfectly, delicate and useless. Claire, the envelope. She blinked. What envelope? The one from the emergency bag. Her eyes widened. Oh. She crossed to the garment bag, opened the inner pocket again, and pulled out the cream envelope she had given me months ago. My handwritten vows. Daniel had deleted the file. But not this. Claire held it like it was fragile. I forgot I had them until we came out of the church, she said. You gave them to me after the final fitting. You said if you cried and ruined the printed copy, I should save you. I took the envelope. My name was written across the front in my own handwriting. Emily Carter. Not Emily Hayes. Carter. I ran my thumb over the ink. For the first time that day, my name felt like a door opening instead of a thing waiting to be replaced. Daniel had erased the document because he wanted to control the ceremony. But he had not erased me. I opened the envelope. The paper inside smelled faintly like lavender from Claire's apartment drawer. I read the first line. Daniel, before you, I thought love meant staying through every storm. My stomach twisted. Claire whispered, you don't have to read it. I know. I folded the paper once. Then I unfolded it. No. I do. My father stood quietly by the door. Claire stood beside me. I looked into the mirror, at the woman in the white dress with red eyes and steady hands. Then I read aloud. I once promised to stand beside a man through every storm, but today I learned the difference between a storm and a warning. Claire covered her mouth. My voice shook, but it did not fall apart. I vow never again to confuse endurance with love. My father closed his eyes. I kept reading, but the words were mine now, not his. I vow to believe the part of me that notices the silence after a lie. I vow to keep my name, my voice, and my peace where no one can delete them. I vow to walk away from any altar that asks me to kneel before disrespect. The room was silent. Then Claire whispered, that should have been the vow all along. I smiled through tears. Maybe it was. My father came closer and kissed my forehead. I'm proud of you. I'm heartbroken. I know. I'm embarrassed. You shouldn't be. I know that too. I'm still embarrassed. He nodded. That will pass. What if people talk? They will. That honesty made me laugh softly. He smiled. Let them. People talk when they don't know what courage costs. Claire picked up the veil comb from my hair. Can I? I looked at her in the mirror. Yes. She gently pulled the pins free. The veil slid from my head and gathered in her hands, light as smoke. Air touched my neck. Cool. Real. Mine. I looked younger without it. Not smaller. Younger, like some part of me had been returned before it learned to apologize. Claire held the veil. What do you want to do with it? I looked at the cold coffee, the deleted vows, the phone full of receipts, and the dress that had become armor without asking. Fold it. Keep it? Yes. My father frowned. Are you sure? I'm not keeping it for him. Claire folded the veil carefully. I touched the edge. I'm keeping it for the day I stopped hiding behind it. A soft knock came at the door. Reverend Reed's voice sounded from the hallway. Emily? Only if you're ready. Some guests are asking if they should leave. I looked at my father. He shook his head. You don't owe them anything. I know. I walked to the door anyway. Claire stayed beside me. My father opened it. Reverend Reed stood there with gentle eyes and his ceremony book held against his chest. I'm sorry to disturb you. You're not. He lowered his voice. Would you like me to make an announcement? I shook my head. I'll do it. My father started to speak, then stopped. He knew that look on my face now. We walked back to the front of the church, but not to the altar. I stopped at the doorway where the aisle began. The guests turned again. This time I did not feel like a bride entering a promise. I felt like a woman returning something that never belonged to me. I held my handwritten vows in one hand. There will be no wedding today, I said. No one interrupted. I came here prepared to become a wife. I am leaving as someone who finally chose herself. A few faces lowered. Some looked ashamed. Some looked relieved. Some looked like they were learning, in real time, that public embarrassment and public truth are not the same thing. I lifted the paper slightly. These vows were meant for him. Now they belong to me. My voice steadied. And if anyone here remembers this day, I hope you remember that love without honesty is just a beautiful room with locked doors. I turned away before the silence could become applause. I did not need applause. I needed air. My father held out his arm again. Claire carried the folded veil. We walked out together. The church bells did not ring. No one threw flowers. No one announced us as husband and wife. But outside, the wind moved through the trees, and the sound was better than music. Some betrayals do not destroy you. They introduce you to your own backbone. If you've ever found the truth right before it ruined your life, tell your story below. And remember, the last receipt is where betrayal stops hiding.